So we got the burnout clutch and the neochrome flywheel removed from the car. I installed a spare flywheel and clutch that I had sitting around, and all we have to do today is bleed the clutch. All right, so we run these Tilton 4100 series throwout bearings in our setup. Basically, the way they work is that fluid comes in from the clutch pedal here, or the clutch master cylinder here, and then there's a vent port on the top. When you push down on the clutch pedal, it increases the fluid pressure on the inlet side, which extends this bearing here, which pushes on the clutch fingers on the clutch and releases it. Basically, on the throwout bearing that we just had in the car, we're reusing the same housing. Saw a lot of heat. This is the bearing from that one, so you can see the discoloration on it. So basically, just took this, replaced the outer bearing here, and then I replaced the inner seal, the two inner seals on the inside. So basically, just did a rebuild on the throwout bearing we were running and put it back in. So we're going to be bleeding that out of the top port today. Should go pretty easily. So I use a Mighty Vac vacuum bleeder to bleed my clutch. So I'll show you how we do that. So first you gotta take the cap off the clutch master cylinder here. Use this Chase Bays unit, it's been pretty good for us for a while now. Once you got that off, you're gonna install this fill bottle. It basically just clips on to the side of the master cylinder, and then it maintains a level in the reservoir based off of how far the nozzle is threaded down into the mount plate. So we're just gonna clip that on there. And open the valve on the fill bottle. Step one, pretty important. It's always good to stare at it while it does the initial fill to make sure it doesn't overflow. Totally never happened to me before. So next you hook up the bleeder to the remote bleeder line. This comes off that top port that's on the throwout bearing. I like to use a crescent wrench on the actual bleeder fitting itself, so you kind of clamp onto it, and then it gives you a handle to the bleed line on the nipple here, and onto the quick release on the vacuum bleeder. Hook up your air line. All right, and then you want to make sure that you always start the Venturia before you open the vent fitting. If the clutch fluid was already bled and the system was full, if you just open the vent, you could potentially introduce some air into the system. All right, this is probably going to get really loud and annoying, so cover your ears.